Hello, hello, hello. We're on Periscope, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. Yay, yay, yay. We are live, guys. Oh my God, it's the last day. It's the last day. It's so exciting. So I hope everyone is thoroughly excited for the last day. This is the day that we are talking all about how to get what you want. Negotiation, the power of negotiation when it comes to your job hunt. So if that is something of interest to you, definitely make sure that you stay for the entirety of the program so that we have a really good conversation. You ask questions. Like I said, this is a seven-day career makeover, and this is the last day. So, oh my God, you can hear in my voice. I've been working hard. I worked through my birthday. I gave you everything you needed to know. So if you are confused about anything, what do you got to do? You got to ask me questions. You got to, let me know how I can help. Okay. So we're talking about negotiation. You're going to want to stay for the entire program so that you get the offer at the end. Yes, I have an offer for you. You can't deny it. You totally need it. Oh my, oh my, oh my goodness. Yay, yay, yay. And then I'm going to go and drink some tea, guys, because my throat's killing me. So I'm going to make it through this. And then I can't talk to anyone for just a little bit. And then I can talk again. But I'm always working, always running. So sometimes the vocal cords gets a little rattled, but that's okay. I'm excited. We have 2 minutes before we're going to get started. Bring in your friends, get a glass of wine, pick up some stuff to take notes, and then we'll get started. And of course, I'll repeat those instructions because we're early, but I like to just jump on a little bit early just in case anyone has any additional questions about what we talked about from day 1 through day 6, or even what to expect for today. But like I said earlier, negotiation, whether we're negotiating at a place that we already are at in our career, or we're trying to make our space a new space somewhere. How do we get asked for what we want? So it's a good conversation, whether you're entry level, mid-level, and beyond. And if you have specific things that you want to talk about, stay tuned for the entire program so that you can get the offer and that you'll understand kind of what I'm giving to you on the table for that. Okay. So couple of seconds. Any questions? I'm asking any questions on YouTube, on Facebook, on Periscope. Do we have any questions? If not, hold them until you feel the need to ask. But I generally want to make sure this is a really good conversation because it's the last day of our 7-day career makeover. And I'm so sad that it's gone, but I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here on the planet. So we can always do this again. We can always have more. And I am planning for a couple of some exciting, interesting updates. So just stay tuned with the Dressing Room Mate platform. And of course, I'll give you all that contact information so that you know what that is and why you need to be a part of it and why you need to join this community that I've started. So couple of seconds. Oh my goodness. Okay, it's time. Hello on YouTube. Hello on Facebook. Hello on Periscope. My name is Natasha Nurse. I am a coach. I am a speaker. I am the content creator behind Dressing Room Mate. And today is the last day of the 7-day career makeover that I created. And so if you're like, what? We did this before and I missed it. It's okay. It's okay. You can get the playlist on YouTube. You can get the playlist on the Dressing Room Mate Facebook page. All right. But for tonight, stay with me because we are talking about negotiation, asking for what you want, whether you're asking for a new job or you're already there and you're like, how do I get some more money? Because, I like some dolo, I like some cash, and I'm right there with you. So it's an important conversation. Let's get started. Learn a little bit more about Dressing Room Mate at dressingroom8.com. And it's essentially a coaching and consulting platform. What do I do? Primarily, I work with women on teaching them how to think with clarity, how to dress with confidence, how to live with purpose. As a coach, I work with women and men primarily on career-oriented things, lifestyle changes, as well as entrepreneurial goals. I want to write a book. I want to start a play. I want to fill in the blank. How do we get organized? How do we strategize? How do we execute? I'm the innovation coach when it comes to executing on dreams. So that's essentially me. And I think it's time to get started because it's a Saturday night, or at least on wherever I am in the world, right? Arizona. I don't know where you are in the world, but where I am, it's Saturday. It's nighttime. We have things to do. We have to get productive before Sunday comes, and it's a whole new day. So get comfortable wherever you are. That's first. Get a pen and paper, if so that you can take notes, or if you're like my husband and likes to write on the phone, get ready to get a tablet and get some notes going. And then, of course, stay with me for the entire program so that you get my offer. I don't want you to miss out, okay? And let's get started. And of course, tag people in the conversation if you feel like they'll benefit from talking about negotiation, which is like, yeah. Who's not going to benefit, right? So bring them on in, and let's get started. So on a really interesting website, I don't know if you guys have been there or not. Now would be the time to take notes. Careerattraction.com, all one word, careerattraction.com. They have an article called How to Ask for What You Want at Work, Actually Get It. And actually get it, right? So they gave six tips. Let's go through them. I think that's going to be really helpful to think about if you are in the position in your career right now where you have a job, but you're looking to make some changes. Either you want more salary, you want some type of fringe benefit, you need some types of flexibility in your schedule, right? Whenever we have a job, there's always ways we can make it better, right? We can always be better, baby. So how can we get what we want in this scenario? One, you got to know why it matters. So when we think about the situation of we're at our job, are you happy? Are you not happy? If you're not happy, and this is something that you want to negotiate on being happy about, meaning I want every other Friday off, or you need to leave early on Tuesdays to pick up the kids. You need to work from home. You can't do weekends, one weekend a month, right? You think you need more educational credits for your master's you're pursuing, right? Like there's so many different things that you could ask for in a negotiation at an existing job. So the number one thing with a bang, which always connects to what I advertise and what I talk about when it comes to career and just life planning, is clarity. We have to know what we want, right? So just saying I'm unhappy isn't enough. We have to get really clear. What exactly are you unhappy about? Is it the work culture? Is it the work schedule? Is it the type of work you're doing? Is it the lack of responsibility, lack of innovation? What exactly do you want? And then you can articulate how to negotiate that, right? But we just got to get really clear about what that is. Next point, be clear, write it out. I think that advice is important because as human beings, we have thousands of thoughts that come through our head every single day. Imagine, right? It's nuts. It's nuts. It's nuts. So what's one really good way to make sure that you're going to get what you want? Clarity in not only what you want and what you're thinking, but how you present it, how you articulate it. So it's really important to write it down so that you are not just a jumble of words not making any sense. We've got to make sure that we can articulate what it is we're asking for. All right. So if that's not clear to anyone, let me know. Put them in the comments, YouTube, Facebook, Periscope. Let me know. Pick your time. So this is good, right? So what is this about? As we're in companies, as we're observing kind of what's happening with the company, right? How many people have been through a company merge, right? Where your company gets bought out, or your company's buying another company. At the end of the day, timing is everything, as they like to say. And this is very true when it comes to negotiation. If your company is in a financial bind right now, does it make sense to ask for a raise? Probably not. Can you? Absolutely. Like you can do whatever you want in this world. Are you likely to succeed in that offer, in that beginning negotiation? Most likely not, because if the budget is at capacity and really they're looking to probably cut people, you asking for more is not going to bring you favorable light in this moment. So timing is everything. Pay attention to the news. Pay attention to how your company is performing. If it's a publicly owned company, make sure you're keeping tabs on where they're at in the stock market, how the company is performing, what are their monthly shareholder reports, right? Like pay attention so that you can properly time the negotiation, because your negotiation could be amazing. What you're bringing to the table, what you're offering could be amazing, but if it's brought in poor timing, it totally defeats it. So timing's everything. Really be calculated as to when we begin these conversations. And sometimes it has nothing to do with the company. Sometimes it's also has to do with you. So maybe you're thinking about leaving and then you get an offer somewhere else. And then really the timing is a matter of not around the company, like regardless of what's going on with the company, it's what with you, you're like your timing. So you've got to know you have an offer, you're at a company, and you have to tell them, right? If you want to do kind of this piggyback negotiation of like, well, I could go elsewhere and get this, or you could keep me here and give me this, right? So now the timing's around you and the decision you need to make with other contingent offers out there. But timing is very important. Next, prepare for objections, right? So obviously when asking for money, what do people like to do? Oh, I don't know if I can afford it, right? If the company is thriving and doing well, then hopefully that's not an objection. Maybe it's a different objection. But if money's tight, then that's typically, oh, I don't know if we could do this. So, be prepared to justify your ask. Meaning if you're getting paid $40,000 and you've done your due diligence and you realize that at your role, with your level of experience, with your skill set, you could actually be making 47, 52, right? Depends on kind of what's going on in the industry with the job role and all of that good stuff. So based on your due diligence, when they come back, you can offer industry knowledge. Well, someone in my capacity in 2019 is making XYZ. This is why I think I deserve a 5K jump, right? You've got to be knowledgeable. Again, due diligence, pay attention to what's going on. It's only going to further your ability to negotiate and get what you want. Practice is the next tip. So why is that important? When I do public speaking, do you think that the first time I'm doing public speaking is like the first time I've ever said those words or put together that conversation? Absolutely not, right? We have to practice what we're doing. So what I'm a fan of doing, and I can show it to you right here, I preach what I speak. See all these? Like these are, maybe I'll show it this way. So let's see. Let me get this together for you. So I have like different tabs, right? I write out my notes every single time I'm doing any type of public conversation, whether it's a live stream, whether it's a public speaking event. I prepare my notes so that I have an understanding to myself of what I intend to speak on. I can keep the flow, keep the focus. You guys stay on target. I stay on target. It makes it a beautiful thing. So when you are thinking about starting negotiation conversations, how do you want it to go? Right? What do you think it's going to be? Hey, Jim, how's your morning going? Right? Even adding talking points for small talk, just so that you can ease into the conversation. If you know your supervisor, if you know the person you work with, and you know kind of what's something that you could talk about that could get them to smile, get them to like ease in and relax, definitely consider putting that in your talking points so that you are kind of layering up the process so that when you hit and it lands well, right? But you got to prepare this and do a mock kind of scenario with you and the supervisor that you're going to talk to, and pretend, right? Either get a friend involved. If you stay here for the end and stay tuned for my offer, you'll see how I could play a role in it. There are ways to practice and make sure that when you finally do execute on this negotiation, in this conversation, that it goes much smoother. Oh, the throat, guys. And I apologize. All the talking, it's gotten me good, guys. Last tip, be persistent. So I think with this is sometimes when you ask for something, do you always get it the first time you ask? No, it doesn't mean that you might not get it 3 months from now, 6 months from now. I think it's important to kind of understand what the objections are, understand where the position of your company is, and you make a determination. And if you decide to stay and you decide that you're going to, hold tight and wait a little bit longer, pay attention to what's going on with the company, pay attention to what's going on with your department. How have you improved from now in the 6 months from now? What exactly have you done to really further support the idea that you deserve a raise, or you deserve whatever thing that you're negotiating? And then bring it to the table again and re-engage, restart this conversation so that you can get what you want, because you deserve it. You deserve it, right? Next, now this comes from learnhowtobecome.org, which is a really great resource. I saw so many really interesting stats. I don't know if I'm going to go through all of them just with time, but I encourage you to go to learnhowtobecome, all one word, .org, and the article is called The Professional's Guide to Negotiating a Job Offer. So this is how to ask for what you want when getting the job, right? Initially, we're not there. The previous perspective we were talking about is when you're already been there, you've established yourself, if you're there 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, right? Now, how do we negotiate in the beginning, right? That's some really interesting information. So let's go through it. 59% of workers did not try to negotiate salary of their current job. This is according to learnhowtobecome.org. Interesting. So nearly 60% of people are not negotiating their initial job offer. Interesting. 52% of men accept a salary offer without negotiating, compared to women who are at 68%. So men are more often than women negotiating their salary. And that's not okay. Why? Because I don't know if you guys heard of gender gap issues, the wage issues. So when we're trying to close the gap so that there's not, 81 cents of the dollar of what we're making compared to you guys, ultimately it begins what? In the beginning, before we accept offers, it's important to find out, is there a point of negotiation in it when it comes to salary or other types of benefits that we can add in and kind of get in there? We got to start off strong. So ladies listening on YouTube, on Facebook, on Periscope, if you are looking for a job, if you are thinking about getting a new job and you are having maybe an offer on table, don't just accept without thinking, just posing to yourself, is there anything else that I want? Is it possible that I could ask for something else that I want? If so, don't shy away from it, because our male counterparts are doing it much more often than we are. And that's really discouraging to find out. So ladies, I charge you with saying, you have new opportunities before we're like, yes, yes, yes. Is there anything else you want? Is there anything else on the menu that you can put forth and make sure that you really solidify the deal that you want that's going to really work well for you? Okay, because if this is a job opportunity that is a career building opportunity, which I hope most of us are jumping on that bandwagon. I talked about that earlier in our 7-day career makeover, that we need to really implore strategy. Every job can be more than a job. It can be a career building opportunity. If that's the case, salary negotiation is also a part of that conversation. All right. Another stat to think about. According to learnhowtobecome.org, many women don't negotiate their salary because it makes them appear desperate or greedy. What is that? That sounds like good old bullshit to me, if I've heard it. Not the stat itself, right? I mean, I think that is one of maybe the reasons why women don't do it. I think ultimately, it comes down to a worthiness issue. I don't necessarily know if we are all feeling like, oh man, like I just got to take it. But I don't know if women feel like they have the right to ask for it. I say this because as a coach, I have found with the majority of the women that I work with, that there's a lot of worthiness issues going on, that like, I can just ask for an interview. I can just ask for like this question of like, I didn't know that I could ask for what I want. And I think that that's something that is either indoctrinated into us through school, through our family, through our cultures, right? Just a lot of that baggage from childhood that just keeps with us as adults. But I'm here to tell you, and Tasha told you, yes, baby, you can ask for what you want. You can always ask for what you want. Will you always get what you want? It depends. It depends, right? There's a lot of mindset. There's a lot of life opportunities that play a role in that answer. But you can always ask for what you want, because if you don't ask for what you want, what's the answer? The answer is always no. It's always no. So that's a really compelling reason to say, well, I have shit to lose, right? Like I might as well ask, because if I ask, I can at least see what the answer is. But if I never ask, I'll never find out. So that's something to think about. Another stat, which I thought was super interesting, pay attention to this. Recent college graduates with degrees in any of the following most likely negotiate for a higher salary. So computer science, engineering, arts, biological and physical sciences, and business. Interesting, very, very interesting that people who are entering more technical or more intensive industries are more likely to negotiate the salary. So it's kind of like, well, where are my liberal arts people at, right? And all my law and philosophy and all of my other majors, right? There's hundreds and hundreds of majors out there, guys. We all need to handle our unworthiness issue and start asking for what we want. Doesn't bloody well matter what major you took in college. If you want more money, if you want more fringe benefits, you have to start the conversation. Okay? If you have questions, YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, please put them in before you know it. We're going to be done, and then I'm going to go cry and heal my voice. I'm not going to go cry, but I've had so much fun, and I hope you've really been enjoying the program too. I think it's been extremely helpful, and I think it's really going to help you kick your ass in gear. I mean, that's the kind of coach I am, guys. Like, I'm not your coddly kind of coach. I'm not, oh baby, nope. Get it together. Get it together. Like, get it together and do you, because you deserve it. I force people to really like cut the bullshit. You know, the number one thing I'm not a fan of is wasting time and being unworthy, and not asking and demanding for what you want in life is a waste of bloody time. And I ain't got that kind of time. And I know you ain't got that kind of time because you're tuning in. So I know you know that you're worthy enough for it. Another couple of stats. People in the following cities are most likely to negotiate for a higher pay. This is interesting, y'all. Pay attention. New York, hello. No joke there, right? No kidding there. Dallas, Texas, San Francisco, Pittsburgh, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Boston, Charlotte, San Diego, Houston. Interesting. There's a lot more cities in this country. That's so interesting that according to learnhowtobecome.org, these are the cities where people are more negotiating their salaries. Very interesting information there. And then just a couple more things to think about. People who never negotiate salaries can miss out on an additional earnings of between 1 million and 1.5 million in their lifetime. So I don't know about you, but I don't currently have $1 million. So if you have $1 million and it's cash and liquid for you to use, bravo. But for the rest of us who do not have $1 million, when I read that stat, I was like, that's insane. Like, that's out of control. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? $1 million to $1.5 million. I can't afford to lose that kind of cash, guys. So really think about when you guys are exploring offers, if you have the opportunity to negotiate. Now, granted, if you told an employer what you're looking for and they deliver on that in your offer, then okay, fine, right? You gave them, and hopefully you thought about what you really bloody well wanted. But if you're in a position where you didn't even start that money conversation and they just come at you at 60K and you really wanted 62.5, it might pay. Actually, it does pay to say, can we do 62.5, right? Like, I know this isn't no deal or no deal, but we cannot afford to lose out on between $1 and $1.5 million. So it's time to roll up the sleeves, metaphorically speaking, and start asking for what you want, because you're losing out on crazy dolo. Crazy. There's more stats. Again, go to learnhowtobecome.org and get those stats. It's crazy. Now, here is another. They have a couple of other things that I won't hit all of them, but I'm going to hit most of what you need to know. But we'll see. I'll try. Throat's hurting. Okay. So they also, lower in the article, have a section called Top 12 Tips for Negotiating a Job Offer. Some of this is self-explanatory, so I think this will be super easy. It'll just like make sense for you. Be prepared, right? We talked about this. How can you go in negotiating for more money if you don't have an idea as to what someone in that role gets paid? You have to know, it's not arbitrary numbers that we're throwing out here. We've got to really come to the table understanding, I've been offered 60. The industry says the role pays between 60 and 68. Why are we at 60, right? Like that's where you're at, right? If you really are looking to start at 65, 66, it's important to have those numbers backed up. And so glassdoor.com, Indeed, right? There's so many different places that give you industry knowledge that you can use for your negotiation. Next, be open-minded to non-cash compensation items. So I'm a big fan of this. Why? Because I think that people underestimate the number one asset in their life, which is time. So if you're like me and you value your time, then even if you can't negotiate more money, could you negotiate working from home on 1 day a week? Can you negotiate getting, more vacation time, more PTO, more sick days? What can you negotiate? That stuff is not cash payable, right? Like it's not coming into your weekly pay or bi-weekly pay, but time boom booms is oh so necessary and oh so important. So if you are not thinking about non-cash items or non-cash compensation items, you're shooting yourself in the foot. There are other things that you can look for, and you can look up fringe benefits. You can look up non-compensation job benefits to give yourself and spark yourself an idea of what are additional things you could negotiate just in case you can't move up in the salary at this moment. Have a plan B, right? So if you don't get it, are you a baby? Or are you just gonna, I don't know, right? No, like plan A is to get this negotiation settled and get what you want. But in case you don't, what are other things that you want? And I wouldn't necessarily think of it as like plan B. I would just think of it as alternatives. Like the ideal situation is XYZ, and another alternative situation is ABC, right? Just think of it as an options that you're willing to go with. I don't want you to plan for failure because that's anti-secret, that's anti the law of attraction, but I do want you to plan for possibility, right? You can always plan for possibility. So what are different possible scenarios that really make sense for you? And again, think of it that way, not if I don't get what I want, I'm going to get this. Don't plan for failure, plan for success. And there are different ways you can succeed at this negotiation. That's how you have to look at it, okay? Next, play it cool, meaning we gotta, even if you get an offer, right? Thank you, I'm so grateful. Come from a place of gratitude. Always come from a place of gratitude. Gratitude is the only attitude one can have to succeed in this world. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. To get an interview is something to be grateful for. To be seen in multiple rounds, something to be grateful for. An offer, an incredible thing to be grateful for, right? Be grateful, play it cool, think about your options, speak with mentors, speak with people like coaches who you work with, and then, make the decision that makes sense for you and your family and your budget, right? And the career strategy as a whole. Avoid discussing personal issues. That's super important. Why? I talked about this earlier in the career makeover, 7-day career makeover, guys. When jobs are speaking with you, are they concerned about your personal issues or are they concerned about their bottom line? I mean, if you were running a company, would you be super concerned about all the personal matters that don't play a role in the company's operations? No, sorry, just it doesn't. The engine has to keep moving. The train has to leave the station. So when we're negotiating, it's not about the personal, it's about the business proposition. If you need to work from home every Friday, is it because yeah, that might be a personal issue related matter, but it's also you're able to work longer. So the company gets more ROI out of you, right? You're able to you're able to have off-site meetings much easier if you're able to work from home, because you can commute to the meetings and it's less of a cost on the company because you're not going to be coming from the city and like figure out what is the company getting out of this from you. It's not about, oh, well, Tisha needs, babysitting and my uncle. Listen, ain't nobody got time for this. Ain't nobody got time for that. What is the benefit for the company? That's what they need to know. That's how you have to express it. You have to always speak to the ROI for the company. That way it is a business decision that they can decide on and make it clear to you whether this works or not your personal issues. That is your personal situation. Okay. And I hope you don't take that as like something to be offended by or something that's insensitive, because at the end of the day, if a company was like tearing their hair out, metaphorically speaking, for everyone's personal issues, nothing would fucking get done. Like nothing. You've got to have the train running and people have got to jump on. And it just has to keep moving, right? If you understand business, you understand it. We've got to keep moving. Yes. This person in your family could be dying. This person could be going through a divorce. This person could have lost their child. Shit still has to get done. Newsletters need to go out. Orders need to be made. Sales have to be done. Accounting has to be done. Bills have to be sent out. Like shit has to get done. A company is only as good as the people working it. So we all got shit going on, right? Like my throat's killing me, but I'm here and I want to make sure that I can deliver the content that you need so that you can be more successful in the next negotiation in your life. You all don't give a shit. My voice hurts, right? Like it doesn't matter. And I think we have to really start to learn how to like kind of compartmentalize and not ignore and not push down and totally like I don't matter. Of course you matter. You always matter. Your life is of paramount importance. But shit also has to happen. So how can I get shit to happen? Like that's what I want you to do and really think about like, yes, I'm going through XYZ and this is why I need to negotiate this, but I'm not going to be talking on that. I'm going to be talking to a business about business decisions that will benefit this business. That's how you really have to come at it. Okay. Next, be likable. Of course, we have to smile. I want to see pretty smiles. Yes. Why is this an important thing? People like to help people they like. If you come into your negotiation, ain't getting you shit, ain't giving you shit, just keeping it 100. Smile, baby. Smile. Be likable. Be pleasant. You catch more with honey than with what's that, vinegar, right? We've got to be friendly. I don't understand how many people I speak to who have negative attitudes about life and people and business, and they expect to make $1 million. I'm just like, you're out of your effing mind. Like you're crazy. Get it together. Smile, be friendly, and try to emulate that and emit the positivity that is within you that you keep hiding under crap and bullshit, and get it so that it works for you. And then you start to really have something to smile about and really be a likable person. Okay. Next, be confident. You damn well know I agree with that. Do you think that coming into a room and wanting to negotiate more money or to be able to work from home or to have a certain fringe benefit and you don't seem sure about yourself is ever going to deliver that outcome for you? No. Sorry. So, and again, we're not confident and rude. I know a lot of times people sometimes confuse confidence with being kind of flagrant and disrespectful. Those are two separate concepts. You can be confident and you can absolutely be courteous and you can absolutely be pleasant and you can absolutely be grateful and humble. Absolutely. But it's about the fact that you are confident in yourself and your offer and why this is a benefit to the company. That's why the confidence is always a good thing. It is magnetic. It is what attracts people to you. It is what is going to attract people to the offer that you're presenting. So I hope that that's clear. Don't forget the importance of learning. Again, learning kind of what's going on in the company culture, what's going on with the company news, how financial stable the company is, how can they afford this negotiation? Can they not? You gotta stay in the know. Be honest, right? Don't say you're asking for something and you're really asking for something else. Come to the table with what you want. Don't hide the ball. I think that's bullshit. Put stuff in writing. I think that's important. A lot of times we like to engage in the informal. Negotiation is something extremely formal, right? It's something that you need in writing. It's something that you need to eventually be a part of your contract agreement, right? With your employment. So don't be afraid to put things in writing. That ultimately they need to be. So really refrain from trying to negotiate verbally. If you can put things in writing and making it a point, you can always start conversations in person. But ultimately, when we're talking about the details of what you want, got to have that stuff in writing. Present value. We talked about that. And then also, and this is a heavy one, and some of you might be like, girl, please walk away if necessary. This is important because it's important for you to understand the following principle from Law of Attraction, from The Secret. Money comes easily and freely, right? You cannot ever feel you are beholden to a certain salary and that you're beholden to a certain job. You can always get a job. You can always have a new opportunity. Cut the crap, right? You can create a job if it doesn't exist for you. You absolutely can. But ultimately, if you're not satisfied in your role, if you're not satisfied with what you're getting at your job, you have to be willing to walk away to get something else. Now, granted, you can plan it so you have something to walk to, right? Like we're not just walking to the street because I know that some entrepreneurs really advise this like, fuck it, and just like kind of go off. it's up to you. You guys know your finances better than anyone else. And if you don't, and you don't understand what that cost is, you've got to understand what the cost is of walking away, right? Because depending upon the market, depending upon what's going on in what you do and the need for what you do, you'll have to make that decision. But ultimately, money comes easily and freely. Do not be beholden to any one situation, because you can get a new situation, you can create a new situation. Opportunity is endless, right? But it's just something to think about, because ultimately people are what? We're so fearful. Oh my God, I just have this one thing. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And it's one of many. The world is endless and limitless of opportunity. And I'm not saying that because it's cute and, oh, you're cute. No, like, it's a reality. So you have to, if you believe that as your reality, then that will get played out in your life. If you don't, then you will be coming from a mind of limitation. And then, so if you do walk away and you honestly don't believe that you can recreate this opportunity, then, that's where we're at. Now, I have a great question on Periscope, that how do we increase our value in whatever we pick up, I think was the comment. So I think increased value, I'd love to know a little bit more about what you mean by that. So just off the top of my head, I would say increased value in the idea that, like, whatever the new role is, whatever skills that are not being asked in the role that you can bring forth, right? I think that can be really helpful. I think employers have certain archetypes of what they're looking for in a position, but you are a rich, diverse person who can learn new skill set, and you can sign up and get courses and get certified sometimes in things that can help level you up in adding more value. So that's one way. And if you have more questions on Periscope, please put that in so I can speak to that. But leveling up is used, or adding values, it's going to come down to soft skills, hard skills, business opportunities, sales opportunities, right? Whatever you can add to what the company already doesn't have, that's how we would level up. Now, a couple more points before we close this out. I'm so sad. This is it, guys. No, I'm not. It's going to be okay. We're going to be okay, guys. We're going to do this again. If you guys want me to do this again, please, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Periscope, put it in the comments and I'll schedule it. So in management type of jobs, for example, how do you increase your value and demand? Oh, okay. Interesting. So in management, I think it's going to come down to, what are the deficiencies that you could fill? And that's a question on Periscope, guys. If in management, if you are doing your set job, then that's great. But what could you be doing that the company's not doing that you feel could add money, revenue? It could build additional relationships. It could increase brand awareness. You've got to take a real good assessment at what's missing and how you can play a part in adjusting that. And even within the role that you have in management, ultimately, could you be more productive? Could you reduce costs of things? Can you find a way to automate things more? So you have to do assessment. You have to do an assessment as a manager and figure out how you can make your employees, the people beneath you, more productive. You can look at new business opportunities that the company's not already considering, and do you have an in somewhere with that? Could you start the conversation? And then also processes, right? Like what's his name? Marcus Lemonis from the Prophet. He says business success is all about 3 Ps: people, product, process, right? So really, if you're looking as a manager to increase and add value, whatever you can do for people, product, process, either bring in better people, increase the process of things, and the product. If it's a product-based business, how can the product be amended? How can we add new product lines, right? That's what I would think about as a manager. And I think that's how you add incredible value, and how you can be seen as a leader in your space, as well as negotiate maybe more opportunities for you to address those 3 things. Yeah. Woke and Free joined. Hello, hubby. People, product, process. Absolutely. Now, I talked about gratitude. We talked about you have the right to ask for what you want. We talked about being professional and just clarity. So I think ultimately the only other things I have to add to this conversation are the following. So you're in control of your career. I wanted to say this because for some people it's very obvious, but for other people I speak to and they act like a victim. Well, I could only get this job, and so I started here, and then I've been stuck here for 17 years. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. I call bullshit. That was a choice. It was an initial choice initially. And for you to remain however you stay there is a choice. Your career is intentional choices every single day. If you want to make a change, it is up to you to figure out how. You might have to educate yourself. You might have to pick a new space to get into. But all of these are choices, guys. It is not just happenstance. Shit didn't just happen. You chose to apply to something. You chose to interview. You chose to accept an offer. Everything is a choice. Your life is a choice. Everything about your life is a choice. It's a choice to live and it's a choice to die. Is it not? So we've got to really cut the crap and really get focused on why you're doing what you're doing. And if you're bloody well not happy, I've been there. I've been not happy in a career. I'm speaking from personal experience. It is up to you to make a decision. And if you don't, I like to say, if you don't make a decision, the universe makes it for you. Because, sometimes the universe is like, I'm tired of the shit. I'm tired of hearing you complain. This is bullshit. Like, get your life. So just understand that everything with your career is a choice. How you level up, how you improve, all choices. Also, I talked about this 2 days ago and yesterday a little bit. Your career and your job is important, right? But we cannot forget that what you do is not who you are. And I need people to be very clear in that divide, because why? We have people killing themselves because they have mistakes or situations happen in their career that they didn't want and that they didn't intend, and they feel like there's no hope and they're taking their life, or they're getting addicted to substances, and it's taking them down a path of destruction and self-harm that does not have to happen. Your job is what you do. It's not who you are. Your job is something that you should enjoy, or something that provides a certain lifestyle that you want, that you consent to, that you chose for yourself. But the minute that you feel like you are at crossroads and that you are going to start hurting yourself through drug and alcohol abuse and extramarital affairs and making life choices that don't resonate with who you are, is not something for you. The other fear is, how do you know your new decisions to correct things is good enough for you? Oh, wow. This is really great questions on Periscope, guys. I'm loving this. Fantastic. So I think that ultimately, the new decisions you make when it comes to either changing directions in a new job, going to a new space, changing direction in the space that you're in, how do you know if it's good enough for you? So the only way you're going to know is going to be based on the clarity of why you wanted the change, right? So if you say, like for me, I was in a role that I enjoyed what I was doing, and was the job perfect? No. But when I got let go at the end of the day, I decided I wanted to take a step back from being in the mill at that moment of just responsiveness in your career, and do something for me and decide to make money for me and grow a business for me. That was something I wanted to explore. Did I know absolutely that that was going to work for me, or that I'd be able to afford my life, or that I'd be able to go places? No, I didn't know. But the only way I was going to know is if I tried, right? And I financially had a supportive husband, and I took decisions and I made decisions that, yes, there's risk involved, but there's risk in everything. But I ultimately had to try. You'll never know unless you try, right? So unfortunately, you're not going to fully know if you're going to love the new decision making or the new direction you go until you start to dabble. So one really helpful thing to do is to what? Either keep the day job if it's not like making you want to kill yourself, right? And it's something you can tolerate. And then you dabble in the new opportunity. Maybe you volunteer, maybe you do an internship. And yes, you can intern at any age. Maybe you start to do some networking, connect with people in that new industry. And, maybe, try to dabble, put your foot in the puddle a little bit, in the pool, just a little bit. And then if you're like, oh, snap, I got a taste of this and I love it, then you know that this is something that you have to try. It's something that you can't live without knowing, but you've got to get out there. And I think that getting a lot of doing like informational interviews is really helpful, but getting your feet wet, right? Some people want to write and they're like, all I ever wanted to do is be an author. Well, are you writing short stories? Have you ever published anything? Like, what are you doing to show that you want this? For some people, at some point, at some age in life, it is whether to stay safe or still risk to try something anew. Well, there's risk in everything, right? Another great question for 40s and 50s. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how old you are, because there are people who start companies in their 60s, right? There are people who do things much later in life. I think using your age as an excuse or I don't, I can't, I don't know if this is going to work out is a choice, right? The same way that people choose at 18 to start a new business and start something totally out of the realm of possibility that, is the regular thing. You can do that at 18, you can do it at 88. I mean, it's a choice. So I think you have to find the balance between what you can financially bear, right? So can you do this full time, financially speaking? If not, then what do you need to do to figure out your life planning, your finances, and then start to dabble and do it that way. And I think that is the dabble approach is probably something that's most effective at any age group, right? Because I think that whether you're 18 and you have a job, so say you're working at Burger King, but you're like, I really want to be an entrepreneur. And then that person goes and they work part-time at the company in the industry that they're interested in, and they learn. And then 6 years later, they start their business. Or we go at 40 and we're 45, right? We're 45. I've been a nurse my entire life, right? Da, 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 da. And I just use that example. My last name is Nurse. I am not a nurse. Don't ask me that. I'm so over that question, guys. So over it. It's just the last name. But you're a nurse, right? But you say, oh my gosh, I always wanted to, start a physical therapy business. I wanted to start a spa, right? Well, what's your connection to that now? How can you get started with that on the weekends and start to do that for 3 years and build and start to figure out how you can transition? Because some people want to have multiple things going on. Some people want one thing, right? So if you just want one thing and you feel like your passion is moving you somewhere else, then it's up to you to figure out how to bring that up. But it's all about choices. It's all about networking. It's all about believing in yourself. It's all about the financing involved. Is it something you can afford to do? Do you need backers? Choices, conversations, actions, but it's all about executing. It's not about sitting and worrying, can I do this? Because for every person who's doing that, there is someone else willing to go and do it and actualize their dreams, so that when people see them, they're like, oh, well, and they come up with all this rational bullshit as to why they succeeded. They succeeded because they chose to. And guess what? Every successful person will falter, guys. I know that sometimes it seems scary to fall and to falter, but that's a part of the process. It just is. And I know that's not like a comforting thing. Is it okay to take some time to say months research to rationalize pros and cons? It's up to you. If you think it takes months to do, takes time to do that research, then that's up to you. I think that there's no one way to go about business. There's not one way to win and to succeed at things. So I think, is it unreasonable to take a couple of months to do your due diligence, understand the industry? Absolutely. I think that's reasonable. I think it's reasonable to take 10 years to think on an idea? No, I don't think it's reasonable. For example, to invest in real estate business. Yeah. So for instance, real estate is a very complex, intricate industry. Absolutely, it takes time, but I think you have to utilize your time, right? So it's not about just being home, but it's about what type of real estate, understanding that market. What are 10 people you could call on today in the space that you're interested in to figure out if that works for you, right? And shadow people and join clubs and groups and do is there coursework you can do on this? Like, utilize your time. It's just not about just doing nothing and thinking. It's about acting, even if it's from a research perspective. But you got to act, you got to connect, you got to learn, and you get in and you dabble and you figure it out and speak with other investors. Who are 50 investors you could call upon today to figure out what worked for them, what didn't work for them. We've just got to be active in every stage of the process before you even dive in. But those are such amazing questions on Periscope. I love them, adore them. Guys, on YouTube, Facebook, where are you at? Where are you at, guys? Let's go. Come on. So another point I wanted to talk about is mindset, which we were just going through with that Periscope question. So that's great. And then also, I guess my last tip is just knowledge. So thank you, Periscope. The guy, I don't know what your name is. Can you and I get into business? I love it. Live business offers. Well, I don't know what you mean, and I don't know what you're interested in. So, the best way to reach me is to go to dressingroom8.com, schedule a session. Let's chat. Let me learn more about you and your business and what you're interested in. And we'll conversate. Okay. And also that's essentially my offer. So you preempted me. Nice. my offer to you guys, for everyone who stayed on with me, go to dressingroom8.com. 30, I can use your energy. Yes, let's work together, man. That's awesome. Go to dressingroom8.com. Go to schedule a session. Get 30 minutes free for me. We can talk about your career strategy. We can talk about your business strategy. That's what I do as a coach, guys. So let me know. And when you completely fill out the form, I will get notified and we will schedule a session to chat. And it's all me. And so for those of you who are interested in a resume edit, for those of you interested in a cover letter edit, or for mock interviewing, for network mock conversations, that's what you can do. If you want to do business strategy, we can do that as well. Dressingroom8.com and find me and let's do this, okay? And with that, I just want to thank everyone for such an amazing program. Oh my goodness, I've had such an incredible time with you. I hope you really learned. I hope I put a fire under your butt to say, enough. Natasha Nurse told me enough. I can do anything. Yes, baby, you can do anything. You can do anything every single day. It is up to you to wake up and make that decision, to choose to believe in yourself, to choose to act and not just get scared, because golly, is there so much to be scared about in life. Absolutely. But on the other side of fearlessness is what? It's freedom. It's freedom, freedom, freedom. So I want that for all of you. So I just thank you all for joining me on YouTube, for joining me on Facebook, for joining me on Periscope. And we can do this again. I just need to hear from you guys. I need you guys to let me know. Unfortunately, it's bedtime for me now, but can't go to bed now. Oh, I hear you. Maybe time to meditate, right? Maybe take some time. I know I'll be up for a while. So or you know what always does the trick for me, guys? This is a fun side note. Opening up like a classic book, like a Jane Austen or Wuthering Heights or Moby Dick, the real, oh gosh, Charles Dickens, right? Picking up classic literature and trying to read that at like late at night puts me to bed every single time. So I suggest you do the same. All right, guys, this has been amazing. Join me, dressingroom8.com. Subscribe to the blog, subscribe to the monthly newsletter, schedule a session, 30 minutes free with me. There's no excuse. If you guys say I have no one to do a mock interview with, bull. Go to the website, schedule a session. I have one tomorrow. I can't wait. Looking forward to doing more. Book me up, guys. And with that, let's say goodbye. So goodbye on YouTube. Woohoo. Yeah. Goodbye